What's up? This is Kevin Matthews from Black Vice Detailing. So we're going to be doing a test spot on this 18-foot shaft rail today. So what we're going to do, we're going to give you a little test spot and show you what we're going to do. So we're going to degrease it. What we'll do typically is we'll like clean the whole boat entirely as a whole, but because we're doing a test spot, we'll just take this degreaser, wipe it down real quick. Do that, then we're going to, I'm going to show you the difference between buffing and wet sanding, and so what each one does. So it's more important to wet sand. You can always get away with buffing, but the longevity of the boat is better when you sand it. And I'll show you why, using some alcohol and wipe it down and show you the longevity and how it's going to last even longer. With an oxidation like this, as you can see, this boat's very, very oxidized on the side of here. So that's our system, and that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to just degrease it real quick. We spray it onto the gel coat, wipe it down, get rid of all the dirt and stuff that could be on it. So we're going to do this again, but just because it's a test spot, we're just going to see what system I need to use in order to make it shine and fix the boat properly. All right, so now we're going to heavy cut it with the compound. I'm going to show you what the compound does, and then I'll show you, we'll medium cut it, then I'll use some alcohol to wipe it, and you'll see a difference of what it looks like with just buffing, and then I'm going to sand it and do it with the same system over again. You're going to see the difference of how the longevity of the boat and the color of the boat is going to stay longer than it would if you didn't wet sand it, if you did wet sand it. All right, so now we're going to take the compound, put it onto the gel coat, get in the area, and then we're going to cut it real quick. Show you what it does. So start on 800 RPM, and then you work your way up to about 1200, and you do passes. You want to do nice, slow, consistent slices. You don't want to rush the process, because when you're heavy cutting, you just want the compound to work itself into the gel coat properly. I'm gonna level out the compound for the medium cut to make sure it cuts all off, rub everything off on it. So now we're gonna compound it with the medium cut on the yellow wool pad. We're gonna use chop top, medium cut compound, same system. You can put it onto the surface of the gel coat, whatever works for you. I like to put it onto the pad, rub it around, cover the whole area. So because we ended at 1200, we're gonna start at 1200 to blend it in. Same system, 1200, I'm gonna go to 1600 and then probably 2000, maybe a little bit faster depending on how I think the gel coat's gonna react to it. So here we go. Now I'm going to wipe the dust off again, just like I leveled the compound up beforehand. Alright, so now I'm going to show you what happens when you just buff and you don't wet sand on a boat that is very oxidized. So it looks good, it'll stay like that for a decent amount of time, but if you take alcohol, take a wipe, comb over it, wipe around an area. Alright, so we just wiped it with alcohol. As you can kind of see, so we kind of buffed all the way up to here. So you can see, you know, this whole section here. Look, yeah, most details might think, oh, that looks good. It looks ready to go, and it's ready to go, looking good. But if you look up here, and you can see that with my phone, you can see that in the rays of the flashlight, there's oxidation up in the top, and there's also oxidation up here in the corner. You zoom in on that right over here in this section. Oxidation over here as well in the top part. Oxidation up here in the front. Some on the side here too as well over here. So this looks great to most detailers and can come out, but the problem is if you wet sand, you'll get rid of all of that. You won't have oxidation like things up here and stuff, all the stuff up here won't be oxidized. It'll get rid of it completely. Some wet sanding from here to here. A lot of oxidation back in this area, gets rid of it in full, and we're gonna wet sand it right now to show you that. Okay, so now we're gonna start, we're gonna wet sand this spot from here up to the cleat right over here. So we're gonna start at 500, go to 1000 and 2000. Using Mirka Abralon to wet sand it. We're gonna wet sand it, and we're gonna heavy cut it, and then medium cut it again, and then we're gonna polish it, prep it for the ceramic, and we'll be done. We can show you the results. All right, so now we're gonna wet the area to sand it, and then we're gonna wet sand it, and then we're gonna do the whole wet sand, heavy cut it, medium cut it again. So we just took off the 500, we just put the 1000 on. Now we're gonna wet sand it one more time with the 1000, and we're gonna do the 2000, and then it's gonna be ready to get compounded to smooth out the gel coat and make the surface smooth. gonna take all the scratches out from the sand marks. So this one, definitely want to keep it low RPM and really get it up to about 1200 max, start at RPM. All right, so now we're gonna wipe off the excess compound, level out the compound, areas that we did. Then we're gonna follow it up with a medium cut, make it perfect. Alright, so now we're going to level out the compound again with a medium cut. So now we're going to do the same test with the alcohol. This time, no oxidation should come back. And then we're going to wipe it in. As you can see, there's really no oxidation. Do another one just to prove it. So I just wiped it in again with the alcohol, but it's like kind of settled with the gel coat. If you come up really close to it, I'll take my phone and the flashlight. You can see there's a little streak mark from the alcohol, but overall, there's no more oxidation that's on the boat. It's gone. So that's from the sanding. That's why it's important to sand before you buff, because the buffing can only do so much. And the longevity of the boat is better, because what sanding does is it's opening the gel coat pores even more. It's getting rid of the dead gel coat, so it's fresh gel coat underneath, like what we have right here, and it's restoring it. And then with the compounds and the chemicals and the abrasives it's supposed to have, and the shine, everything it's supposed to do to restore the color, it's now into the gel coat. So now the only thing, if you can see, there's hologram marks. There's kind of like minor scratches and hologram marks that are in. You can see the ray from my phone. That's we gotta correct with the polish. That's what the polishing step is. We're gonna take that out. We're gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right. So now that we did the cutting steps and everything, we're now gonna polish it. We're gonna do kind of a little bit of cutting and polishing with Manzurna 400. So it's a little heavy cut, so it gets kind of any minor scratches that have been left in, as well as gives it a nice gloss. And then we're gonna follow it up with Wake Up from Shine Supply. So you can do 4 dots on the pad like that. We're using the orange, or they're using the gray force rotation pad from Lake Country. It's a cutting pad. Just hit it around, cover the area. Get all the areas covered. All right, and you're gonna do the same up, down, side to side motion. It's on about the 5 speed setting, so it's a little bit faster. All right, so now we just hit it with the Manzurna 400 with the heavy cut, kind of polishing as well. So we're gonna wipe it off now. Okay, so now, for the most part, what's gonna happen is a lot of those hologram marks that were there before, they're gonna be gone. So you can see there's still a little bit there, but that's fine because a lot of it's much better. But we're gonna take the orange pad, we're gonna come over with it, and we're gonna cut all those out and get rid of them. Now we're gonna polish it up, finish it up with Shine Supply Wake Up. We're gonna put it on the DA. Gonna hit it around. This is also what we're using to prep it for the ceramic. So once this is really done, I mean, obviously we'll come over it again, kind of clean any surface before we ceramic coat it. But for the most part, this is the final step until we ceramic coat it. Alright, so typically with Shine Supply Wake Up, you let it sit for a little bit because it is a sealant, but because we're going to ceramic coat it and we're probably going to hit it again with it before we ceramic coat it, we're going to take it off right now because it still works as a polish. The protectant works if you let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and wipe it off. So now we come into it and there are no more hologram marks. It's gone in full. So you can see that there's no more rays coming off, just the straight bead of the light. That's what you want to finish with. So what this really is doing is it's not really leaving any high level hologram marks that can ruin the gel coat and get dirt inside of it and collect dirt, which won't collect as much. So what you want is just the ceramic to collect this now. But from this, it went from this over here to this over here. And it's gonna last like this with the ceramic coating, and it'll stay like that for a very, very long time, as long as the owner of this boat maintains it properly.